And then Gary, off to one of your former clubs in Peterborough this weekend. It's going to be a tough game.
Yeah, it will be a tough game. They've had a poor spell before their last game, which was a good win up at Notts County. They changed their shape a little bit, and we have to work out whether they keep it or change it back. That's something for us to work out. But it was a good win for them away at Notts County, so we're not catching them on a downward spiral, but we've got to go there. Believe that we can get a result, because on the form table I think we might be quite close to them.
You've managed to pull out some decent away results this season. Does that put you in good stead going there?
Yeah, I think so. The boys have done well in some of our difficult away games, and we've been pleased with that. At this stage of the season, we're going to need to be coming away with wins, and we've got to try and get, we keep saying it and we've got to keep waiting for it, is back-to-back results. That's what you're going to need to find yourself in a more comfortable situation. You're still going to be in and around it, but most of the clubs are going to find back-to-back wins at some stage that are down there, so we've got to try and do the same and try and do it quick.
And the transfer window obviously closes on Monday. Are you working hard behind the scenes trying to bring players in? Yeah,
we're working very, very hard to try and bring players in, and they don't just turn up on your doorstep sort of thing. If they did it would be a lot more comfortable, but they don't. And we've had to go through a lot of names, and you have to get a lot of knockbacks. And then maybe because of the numbers side of it, because we're aware of everyone that is available, and we have spoke to certain players even in non-league that we quite like, certainly in the league, and you've got to start thinking about loans as well, just in case, because obviously Jed's got to go back, so we've got to look for another goalie, whether that be full term or a loan, because Wheely's injured at the moment, and we haven't got two first team keepers, even though Gareth Stewart always believes that he wouldn't never let us down, and I'm sure he would.
And do you think there's any possibilities of anyone coming in before the weekend?
There's one or two slim chances, but when it gets to this stage, a lot of players are keeping their options open to the last minute. A lot of clubs are keeping their options open to the last minute. I think the good thing is that we haven't had anything in for any of our lads that we can ill afford to lose, and so that's good. I'll try and, as I always say, turn my phone off after the weekend, or at the weekend, because that's really taking liberties, talking to clubs when it's that late in the transfer window.
And are you looking to defender? Obviously is probably one of your priorities, because obviously you've converted Kiefer Moore from striker to defender, but it's probably not the ideal situation.
No, well, it's ideal if he's doing well, Kiefer, which he has been doing well. Him and Stephen Arthur worry, and then we got Nugent back after the weekend, Ben Nugent, and so that gives us another centre back, because he's here till the end of the season. So as far as that's concerned, we've probably just about got enough cover with our small numbers in that centre half spot, only because Kiefer's done so well, and we're very pleased with what he's done, and how how Stephen Arthur Worry has coped with having what you could class as a rookie alongside him.
And how important has the Manchester United money that obviously you gain from that cup game, how important is that in terms of budget and who you're able to look at?
That's a question you have to ask the board of directors, I think. They will have their budgets and their forecasts and that sort of thing, and as and when we get the opportunity to spend some money, then I'll ask. But it's at the moment the club's still got to survive. It's still got to get this development thing on the go. That's vital to the future of the club. What's coming from the board of directors, and I can see that. And so I think a lot of time and effort is going into that at the moment.
And you mentioned Chris Wheel, obviously he's out still for another, about 2 weeks, did you say? Any other injury news? Any players?
No, he's out longer than that. You know, most of the players that are out now are out for pretty much long term. You know, you've got Dawson and Gillett that will struggle to see this side of the end of the season. Wheely's still got to recover from broken bones in his foot. Sokolic's still got to recover from his cruciate injury, which is again going to be next year. Grant and Davis have got injuries that keep returning whenever they look to return back. Certainly Liam Davis is now seeing another specialist. So when you get that run of events, it's very, you know, they don't come back soon. So we've still got a lot out, and be nice to have a couple more numbers in, to be honest with you, and we're trying to do that. But the business has got to be right.
You've managed to secure the services of Arthur Worry until the end of the season. You must be pleased with that.
That's good business because he's done well for us. He's not expensive, and he's certainly value for money, and that's what we got to look for at the moment. And so I was pleased that he agreed, that Fulham agreed that he would stay, because he's getting better and better, and you know, he's a good lad to have around the place. He's a not only a nice lad, but he's a good worker, and he's a listener, and he will improve, and he will become eventually a Premier League player.
He's had to mature very quickly at the back there, becoming the main central defender.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's what happens when you drop a league or two. You do find yourself, even at 19, 20 years of age, as being one of the leaders, because even from that position you have to be a leader from the centre back. But when he's got young lads around him, and I've been really pleased with Liam Shepherd's first couple of games, but you know, he's only 19 as well. So you know, Nuge is 20. Kiefer Moore's the old man of the centre halves, in being 22 or whatever it is, but inexperienced as far as that position's concerned. So Stephen's come in, and he's very, very much played his part.
I suppose team news, does it pretty much talk for itself, really?
Not really. If I said it did, then that would give Peterborough a clue when they look through listen to the BBC footage and everything, and our video stuff. So no, we've got a couple of decisions to make, and you know, when we've made them, you'll know at 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon.
Just looking to Peterborough, obviously you mentioned their win at Notts County, but they've been a bit inconsistent of late, and their chairman, obviously, who you know quite well, Darren McAntony, he's taken to Twitter and he's absolutely slated his team in recent games.
Yeah, I know the chairman very well, of course. What you can't shy away from is how well they've done their business over the last few years. You know, I went there when they, you know, the season after they got relegated, and we managed to put a squad together that was competing when I left. I think we were 7th with 1 game in hand, and they won that and ended up going 5th. So I felt I played a part in that season, and I'm sure the chairman and Barry does. Unfortunately, Barry Fry that is, unfortunately we didn't quite see eye to eye, and that was fine, that was amicable, but he's done some very, very good business. Unfortunately they came back down from the Championship after 1 season, but the business side of the club has gone very well. They've sold some very good players, having brought players in for you know, next to nothing. So he has got a keen eye for certainly non-league players, and puts them on good long contracts so that they can sell them big when there's any interest.
Do you think there'll be any pressure on Darren Ferguson at the moment?
I don't think so. I think that they both understand, the chairman and Darren and Barry, so all 3 of them. You know, they'll all be talking about what they need. They'll be disappointed with the last run, and that's what's led to the chairman's Twitter. He is very much says it how it is, and I remember, you know, many times going to his office after games, and if we'd won, he's very happy, and he's a very fine, kind human being. And then, but when you've lost, he's very disappointed, and he's not shy in showing his disappointment, and that's fair enough because it's his club.
I can't imagine John Fry, if he was on Twitter, I can't imagine him coming out with anything like that though.
No, well, you've got different characters, and I've had a few chairmen over the years, worked with a few, and they're all different, and you have to work alongside them, and you have to respect A, their personality, and B, where they want the club to go, and sometimes they'll involve you heavily, and sometimes they won't.
Gary, thank you.
No problem.
Just very quickly, Gary, the same source that thought he knew a lot about Joe Edwards seems to think he knows a lot about another transfer target, Marvin Johnson, Kidminster Harriers winger. Is that a name that's cropped up?
Yeah, it is a name that's cropped up. Yeah, it's we've checked out Marvin Johnson. I mean, obviously, I'm not. If someone's already, you wouldn't normally be able to talk about somebody that you're interested in, and because. But if somebody else has come up with it, I said I wouldn't lie to you, and he has been one that we've shown an interest in.
Is that interest ongoing, or is that something that's perhaps on the back burner now?
Well, listen, I'm not even sure whether I'm supposed to say this, but we've made an offer that's been turned down. Okay. So, can you make it your idea?
Yeah.
I don't know where we stand with that sort of stuff, and how secret it's got to be. But the boy's out of contract. He's over 24, so I presume you can talk about these things. But you know me, I don't tend to talk about them unless I'm asked.